Hi folks, this is Chuck, also known as the Brownie Camera Guy from the Brownie Camera page and from BCG Film and Photography. I'll put a link to both websites in the description below. Today I want to show how to use these adapters to fool this camera, which is a 1/16 camera, into using 120 film. 1/16 film is not readily available these days, extremely hard to find, and the spool, or I should say because the spool is bigger than a 120 spool, we need to add something to the end of these spools so that the camera thinks it's using 1/16 film. What we're going to use are these adapters, which these particular ones I've designed and I 3D print in the shop. However, if you're in the United States, because my shop is in the Netherlands, if you're in the United States, try Googling 1/16 film 120, and these adapters should show up. Not these specific ones, but others made by, say, Camera Hack, or there are other people on Etsy that make a similar adapter. So let's use this one. Let's load the 120 film. I'll show you how to advance the film and shoot the photograph. And then I'll show you how to take the film out of the camera. This technique works not only for box cameras like this, but also any camera that uses 1/16 film. The winding scheme is going to work the exact same. So for this particular Brownie camera, I'm going to open the back. This is what advances the film, and it goes into the film carrier. So we need to turn and pull that out carefully, slowly, easily. Then the film carrier comes out. So we'll take the 120 film, take the band off of it that holds the film from unraveling, take one of your adapters, put it in one end, it'll fit, it fits right in, slides right on. Take the other one, or another one I should say, put that on, and so now you'll see these are not only the same width, but the end is also the same. So it stays tight because of these springs when you put it into the camera, and it won't unravel. So you'll see the difference of this is there is one corner, one end of where the spool is going to be that's a little bit bigger, longer. That's because when this goes into the camera, that's the part where the winder will push into. So we want to put our film in the other end, so it just fits right in there. Then we'll take a little bit of the paper away from the spool, but trying to keep the spool so it doesn't unravel. Put that in your empty spool. There's a little tab that fits right in. And then you wind it on just slightly so that it's not going to pull off. It's kind of stuck on there. Then we turn this And without turning any more, we pull the film across, like so. Turn again. Pull it almost until it's in the slot. Take one of the other spool adapters, put that on one end. Take the other spool adapter, put that on the other end, and then put it down. You'll also notice that usually almost all 1/16 cameras have these springs. Okay? So on this particular model, this particular camera, because there's so much area it has to go, the starting point is already there. On some folding cameras, the starting point would still be over here, which means, so we'll, and bear with me, there's the hole that allows the spool, the winder to attach the spool. That needs to go in that way. Okay? Then, this needs to be turned and engaged with the spool, and it will kind of click into place. So again, if this isn't already showing right here, it might be down there. If it's a folding camera, you would now roll this until you see this arrow bar basically at the beginning of the film plane. So we're now going to close the camera. And here's where I'll also put this instruction in the description below. You now have to roll this exactly 8 turns, 8 complete turns, to get the film, the first image, ready to go in your camera, in place and ready to go. So I'll do that, okay? And I'm not going to speed this up. I'm going to take the time to show you so that you sort of see exactly what I'm talking about. There's 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, 3, 1/2, 4, 1/2, 5, 1/2, 6, 1/2, 7, 1/2, 8. Now, there is film now over the film plane, and it's ready to have the first image taken. Disregard the little red window on the back, okay? It will not show correct numbers or anything because this is not the film designed for this camera. So now, with many of these old cameras, some cameras are a little bit different, but many of these old cameras, you expose the film, you trip the shutter in one direction and then advance the film. All right, you don't flip it up and then flip it down. You'll be double exposing the film then. Okay, so this film's ready to go. I'll take the first picture. Then I'll advance 2.5 turns to move the film, the second image of film, into the onto the film plane. So 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2. Now I'm ready for the second image. One direction, then I advance the film 2.5 turns. 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2. There's image 3 taken, only in one direction. 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2. Then I think I'm on image 4. One direction, 2.5 turns. 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2. 5, 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, and then the last is 6. Because the negatives are so large, a roll of 120 film will take 6 images. The size of the negative will be 2.5 inches wide by 4.25 inches tall. That's about 6.5 centimeters by a little bit less than 11 centimeters. So it fills because 120 film is thinner, it fills the width of the film. So now you can use the little red window to see when the film is completely wound onto the spool. So I'm going to wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it, wind it. You'll see some numbers going by. I don't know if you can see that or not. Those don't matter, except that means you're getting to the end of the roll. Then you keep winding it until you see nothing. Wind it a few more times, like so. Now we're going to take the film out. Again, in subdued light. We open the camera. We pull out the handle while turning it gently. Pull out the film carrier. All the film is on the bottom. Make sure it's sort of tight on that spool. You take the spool out. You take the ends off. These are the adapter ends. You take the piece of paper that is attached to the film. Put that on. There's usually a little piece of glue that will comes on the paper, like so. So that it will not unravel, I should say. And then this can go either to a place to process or your own darkroom to process it. You can probably a good idea to put it back into its original packaging, original box, so that it's a bit more light tight. And with that, you can use your 1/16 camera that you found in your attic or your basement or someone gave you. Hope this helps, and have fun shooting with your 1/16 camera. Until next time.